It is time for our weekly Rants and Raves, and I'm going to start with Roy.
Oh, okay. Well, my rant is, well, I guess I actually have a rave. We were talking about it earlier, and I think there are people here who might rant about it. But I was noting that Slate.com did something really remarkable, and that was instead of just editorializing about their objection to the name Washington Redskins and how that controversy had things set up so much that Indian Americans were opposed to the name, and there was a lot of controversy about it, that instead of just editorializing about it, they declared that they were no longer going to call the team the Washington Redskins. It would be the NFL Washington team. And Slate is in Washington. They don't write that much about it. It's also part of the Washington Post now, although it's one of the units that will be split off.
It's staying.
It's going to be part of Washington Post?
The Grahams will keep the
newspaper
Slate.
and Slate. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I wanted to rave about that because I thought the website did a good thing to take an extra step.
I'm ranting on that.
No, I'm raving on it.
It's censorship. If they're going to change the name, they change it. But right now, that's the name of the team, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
I don't think it's stupid. I think it refers to it's a very real situation. You can always say the team known as Prince did it for 100 years. Oh. The artist known
that
as.
Was stupid too. All right, Dan.
I'm with Slate. I have a rant for Patch, the network of local news sites across the country. They have never been able to articulate a vision for how they were going to make it to profitability, and now things really seem to be falling apart. They have announced that over the next week, I guess, they're going to be laying off hundreds of people. They could be closing 400 of the 900 sites, although they're looking for partners for some of them. The suggestion that I would make at this point, and Jeff Jarvis has made this, Howard Owens has made this as well, shut the thing down and help these editors become owner-operators of these sites, because I think some of these could do very well if you would get the dead hand of AOL off their backs and let these people become entrepreneurs.
Well, what's interesting about that is that I had a friend who was running a very successful site in McLean. It was hard because she was doing it herself, and they came and took it over. So they could reverse that because she had identified this as a community that needed its own, and it was the community was responding.
Exactly.
Which
you can't compete with them, so she had to join them.
Yeah.
So help her go independent again.
There you go.
All right, George.
Well, Boston has a new business columnist in town, and she's doing a terrific job. Shirley Leung, who has for years was the editor, the business editor at the Globe, moved into a columnist role. And when I heard that, I thought, I wonder how this is going to work out, because it's tough to write a good column. And now it's just 3 weeks in, and Shirley has been basically taking names and kicking some rear end, and it's been interesting. And she brings an interesting voice to it. She went after Larry Summers' candidacy for the Fed. She was pro Walmart, which is controversial. So she is basically meeting the fundamental job description of a good columnist, which is to stir things up every time she writes. And so I give her a thumbs up, a rave.
I'm with you there. She's really been
and
good.
to educate, because a lot of stuff she writes is accessible to people. Maybe it wasn't before written by other people, so that can't be said enough. Clear writing,
Callie, what do you got?
This was a public feud between Howie Kurtz, formerly of CNN, and the Daily Beast, which was run by Tina Brown, editor Tina Brown, and he wrote a comment about the sale of the Washington Post or something. He just jumped in just to, in the Twitterverse, make a comment. And she just snapped back out into this Twitterverse, "Oh, Howie, didn't I fire you for serial inaccuracy?" And then she had some misspelled words afterwards saying, that's what the British hacks say or whatever. And I thought, woohoo! What was the reason for that? What was the need for that? Take it inside. You know how we always say take it outside? Take it inside, people. Call them on the phone, whatever. We hear a lot about the Twitterverse being used for these nasty little feuds between the Kardashians and whatever. But come on, let's have some dignity about ourselves.
Did Howie respond?
No, he did not respond, which was good on his part. Now, let me just say, I am not pure. I read it and went, woohoo! But I think it's tacky. I do think it's tacky. Don't do that.
All right, well, I have a rant for the Boston Globe, and tip of the hat to our old colleague here, John Carroll, who pointed this out on his blog this week. So did anybody besides John, and now I've noticed that not a single letter to the editor this week about the sale of the Boston Globe. You cannot tell me that they did not receive thousands of letters, emails, comments. They must have gotten something. Why would they not print a single letter? Because the sale hasn't gone through yet? Because they don't want to offend the new owner? Why?
Wow.
No commentary either. No op-eds,
Nothing.
to my knowledge, as well. I don't think has appeared. Very interesting.
Because it hasn't gone through yet.
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
All right.
Saving it
Just
all
saying.
for Sunday.